dude.
They made
Especially
a
if
live
you
action
exactly if you consider that Lion King just came
Dog.
out like.
They made Mufasa now. He wrote songs for Mufasa. You
So
understand that?
So
that
he's still
nigga's
highly
like,
involved within the project, ne?
he's a big deal.
Damn, label M.
Yeah, and
Homie.
him, you won't notice him. He goes under the radar.
To me, I feel like that's, in terms of success, that's always been the best case scenario, where you're successful enough to be known by the right people,
Yeah.
but not so successful that, like, you literally can barely walk in public.
Sure.
That to me has always been, I guess, something that's made me shy away from seeking out any degree of fame.
Yeah, I don't.
Yo,
I'm good.
like within my own life sphere, like knowing the amount of people I just know as an ordinary person, it gets overwhelming where it gets uncomfortable going to certain places because you're aware you're gonna be seen by certain people.
Sure. You have to behave in a
have
particular way.
Exactly.
And it's not your nature.
And there's some conversations you're forced to have that you're not necessarily even
want to have
invested in, or you feel like, like I should be having this conversation.
Yeah,
and to me, the older I grow, the more I find that I hate justifying myself or justifying things that I am or doing and stuff. And so much of like I don't know, black society is like fucking justifying yourself because most people on the frequency that you're vibing with, and sometimes it gets annoying.
You know my biggest issue with black folks is, bro, it's not just the justification, but it's the fact that we have to just sweep everything under the rug, bro. Like, that really bugs me, bro. Like,
Yeah,
we must carry on like nothing happened. Let's pretend that everything is normal. Yeah, instead of addressing the big elephant
in the room. Yeah, and someone was mentioning this. There's an element of just deliberate dishonesty that's become infused within black existence.
Sure.
And like most people don't like addressing it because when you do, you become like, it's almost like you ruin everyone's party. And I can recall this very vividly when I was still in high school, and I was getting into writings of Steve Biko on Black Consciousness, and looking at the PAC and what they've done and stuff.
Sure.
And I just remember one time we were going for a trip somewhere, and I remember looking at like the vastness of South Africa and the land, and at that point it hit me like, damn, so much of this open land is owned by white people. And I remember it just striking me at the core, like, okay, what the fuck? Why is that okay? How do a bunch of people who arrived on boats all of a sudden own so much, and the people who are from this land, they own disproportionately small amounts?
According to they're clustered in concentration
camps. And so I remember being very aware of that, and then I started raising that question amongst my peers and people. Yo, dog, it made people so uncomfortable, especially like adults, especially like European adults. Like when I was like, yo, the land question is very weird. Like, how do you people justify this situation? Like, like people started looking at me strange, like, oh, you might be a troublemaker. This was before even people thought the EFF would ever be a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I started talking about the land and being wary of that question a long time ago. And that alone just let me know, Wuti, most black people, in order for them to exist in their day-to-day life and whatnot, they have to ignore the fuck out large portions of reality. Because if they were to process the reality that they're seeing, it'll compel them to have to do stuff.
Yeah.
Because now we've been forced into a situation where we're not exactly allowed to change status quo. We're just supposed to accept it
for what it is.
Yeah,
it's unhealthy as fuck, Joe, and I disagree with it.
Yeah.
I thought either way, if you avoid dealing with a particular emotion or notion or action, it's gonna come out in a way that you won't necessarily
be able to control,
aware of, and you won't be in any fucking control of.
Yeah, like we act like these problems, and that's another thing I've realized about black society is like everybody just keeps on passing the buck to the next generation. Like, I know they'll figure it out, they'll solve it,
and it's we're like, just literally passing intergenerational courses.
Yeah, and it's like, no, we have to solve some of these things within our own timelines, within our own like lifetimes. And it's for that reason that I haven't exactly been too excited about making kids, because I look at the world that I'm around and I'm like,
Do you know
is
what
that really
do you know
the
what the
world?
kicker is? Do you know what the kicker is?
What?
Your parenting style is gonna be essentially based on the parenting style that you were raised on. So, let's say
It's always the case. It's always the case. But my thing is though,
no, that's another way of perpetuating
the cycle. But I'm aware of that, and hence
Sure, yeah.
I'm aware that there's certain things
Sure.
that I cannot reproduce simply because they were done to me.
Sure.
One of the things that that I was blessed with is having the ability to study child psychology.
Sure.
And so I've realized when I was still at Tugs at UP, I was like, wow, there's a whole lot of ways in which like what we consider normal and how we raise our kids, we're actually fucking them up. Like,
you don't realize how much damage you're doing
to the child. So
then,
it made me hyper aware of how important the first 7 years of a child's life are, and how if you're gonna have a child, you have to orchestrate the best circumstances for the child to be raised in, because like you can't do this shit haphazardly, like how we think, like, oh no, Mother Nature just gives us this wisdom that is just gonna come from the sky, and we're just gonna know what it is to raise a child. No, we're not. Especially not in the 21st century, in a world that is globally competitive. Like that's another thing that black people, like, sometimes you don't like acknowledging, is that we are in a race. Like, we call it race for a reason. It's a race. It's a race towards resources. It's a race towards dominance. It's a race towards influence. It's a race, and we are at the bottom of that race. And part of the reason we're at the bottom is because we don't want to compete. We don't want to compete as a people. You know what I'm saying? And so
it means facing our demons.
Exactly. It means being introspective about where we lack, and working on our weaknesses, and then and then settling on our strengths, using our strengths to maneuver our society forward. But I barely see or hear any of those conversations happen, and whenever they are happening, it's usually people preaching to the choir, as in it's people who are already within the process of trying to find those answers. Whereas the vast majority of society is left in the darkness. They're not even asking.
Not necessarily left in the darkness. The majority might not even care at all. Dog.
Yeah, that's also another scary aspect of it, is that we've normalized bullshit to such a point where bullshit is becoming what we understand to be our norm. Like, we believe us being in the position that we are is almost ordained by God. It's where we should be. Like, some people will literally tell you that black people are cursed. I'm like, okay, let's say that was the case. Let's say we are cursed. Why would you be happy about that?
Might say that. Like,
yeah, but that's because it benefits them to believe that. I mean, how else would they justify seeing Africa as rich as it is?
But judging by the behavior, who's the lineage of Cain?
I mean, we know that.
Yeah,
we know
judging
that.
by behavior.
We know who the Edomites are, dog.
Yeah, judging by behavior.
But that's the thing, that people, they say they believe in certain things, but when in practice it's something else. Like, how in the Bible they talk about, the world of the physical is deceitful. Things aren't always as they seem. So we live in a world where people are seeing this one race of people being hyper dominant, and people are assuming it's because
righteousness.
Yeah, it's because they're righteous or something special, but they don't see
maniacal, though.
Exactly, and they don't see the deep darkness and loathing that these people have for other groups of people, and it creates a situation whereby the earth is big enough for all of us times 10. Like, if we could times 10 the current population, and there'd still be room for human beings to survive on this planet. But because of how the current distribution of power and resources, that's not the case. There's not enough room for all of us.
That's true.
Just because of this one group of people.
We're not equal to others.
And it's crazy when you look at like the deeper aspects of their psychology and why they believe the things they believe. You would think it truly comes from a place of superiority, but when you get into
inferiority
and a deep inferiority
irrational fear
dude,
that these guys, these other races will
conquer, yeah, and will do to them what they've done to other people
for centuries.
for centuries, right? And so it's like it's very interesting to like look at their psychology and recognize that these people aren't operating from a healthy psyche.
Sure,
They're operating
from survival mode.
Yeah, they're operating from lack.
Sure.
And Tina, as black people, we are looking at that as like weird because
the pinnacle, dog, of success.
yeah. So, and it's ironic because black people, we have been on this planet for so long. We started out trying to survive. We mastered survival. We got to a point where we were thriving, and then we got to a point where we were trying to be the highest level of human being.
Sure.
Most people
not only for our race, but for other races as well.
For the whole planet.
Spanish
for the whole planet.
Recognize us Moors as.
For the whole, like, when you look at the deeds of African people, true history,
sure,
it's actually crazy because we seemingly are the only group of people who, in history, seem to behave selflessly. That to me, when I see examples of like kingdoms and empires acting selflessly to help other groups of people, generally I only find that in African history.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not saying it will only exist in African history. I'm just saying I genuinely find that in African history.
You know why
even in state formation.
Majority of other races were all about conquest.
Yeah.
Instead of actually helping to edify the culture that they so now conquered.
Yeah.
They instead enslaved them and subjugated them.
Yeah, and so to dominate and impose their values and ideals on their people. Yeah, true.
Sure. So,
to me, and that's also why I'm realizing that we as Africans are fundamentally different, because even in how we formulated our states and our empires, it wasn't necessarily through raw conquest and the destruction of neighboring empires. You didn't do that. A lot of things were done through trade, ritualistic agreements, ceremonial agreements. Like, for example, there were aspects of war which weren't a war, but they were ceremonial. Like, we'd have a ceremonial war to decide who would be the best victors of power. Like, you know, like most people don't understand, for example, like why Shaka was such a shock in his time, because he actually made warfare deadly.
I feel like, to a part of I'm not watching you Shaka Ilam makes me think that guy was had antisocial personality traits.
No, that's what I'm saying, Muti.
He was kind of very.
That's what I'm saying, Muti. He was abnormal. People want to pretend like he was just another African king. No, he was abnormal. He was out of the norm because he made warfare highly deadly, and African warfare wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't about go to the other tribe, kill and all the men, rape all the women. Like we never did. Not to say it never happened, but it was rare. Like where tribal warfare got to that extreme where people were decimating whole villages and stuff. You know what I'm saying? We just never developed that way, and I think it's because we had a high value for life. You know, even if the worst case scenario you were a slave, slaves in African society had social mobility. It's not like you were born a slave, you're gonna die a slave. Hence, they always try and muddy the arguments and muddy the waters by trying to say, well, all human societies had slavery. Well, yeah, to some degree, true. But not the same forms of slavery. Like chattel slavery was a specific type of horrendous and evil that humanity has never seen before. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they try and justify that.
To enslave a man and throw him in a gladiator ring to fight for his life day in, day out. He wins his freedom by killing others. Imagine the amount of trauma those guys go through.
Yeah, walked around. And then
first of all, you're disposed. You're taken afar to another village, my man, and then you're forced to endure life or death situations in circumstances that are unhealthy for you, Joe. They keep you at the survival rate of the bare minimum, Joe.
Yeah, so and that's, I think that's another thing that most people, even Africans themselves, we haven't really processed the horror that our ancestors went through. And I think that's why for so many Africans, when we talk about our history, they're very quick to dismiss the pain and what their ancestors endured and how we got to where we are. is because like we truly don't understand how much suffering was endured in order for us to be where we are.
Hey,
And I
bro.
think that's also, it cripples our ability to be determined never to be in this position again. Look at the Jews. After the Holocaust, the Jews were like never again. Like, we will never be in this position ever again. And sure enough, they made sure that they never find themselves in that position again. We don't have that same impetus as black people, dog. We're just relaxed, dog. We're thinking our nature is just, yeah.
Tanga. Just Tanga. Imagine, Tanga. A pack of dogs can run away, can chase away a bear, dog. A pack of dogs can hunt deer. You as a human, a black person, Tanga, they sent packs of dogs after you. And dogs are cruel, dog.
Dogs don't give a fuck.
Dogs are cruel.
Dogs will eat you alive, my nigga.
Bro.
Well, no joke.
Yo. And they can be trained to be racist, bro.
I still don't understand how they're able to do that. I know it's possible, I just don't understand how they're able to do that. Like, that is a very weird aspect of human psyche, where we so fucked up we can influence another animal to be as fucked up as we are. Like, that is just extreme, dog. Super extreme.
Yeah, well, no, they are bad people, dog. Like,
I mean, look,
like almost all their actions now basically
I fundamentally believe as human beings we all have the same level, like we all have equal amounts of evil and good. We just get to choose which parts of ourselves we draw the most from. Like, some people choose to draw from their darkness, other people choose to draw from their light. But we all have equal amounts. I don't necessarily assume that one group of people has more evil than the other group of people, but I think with momentum of behavior, other groups of people, because influence grows. Like, I can influence your behavior, you can influence 10 other people's behavior, and then the momentum of that behavior across time, it can change the character of the people we become. I think that's what happens. But fundamentally, we always have a choice of deciding what to do, whether or not we want to be dark or light. And I think with the people that we're talking about, for them, because it's been convenient for them to choose darkness, they've chosen darkness more times than light in recent history to rule over the world. And now that darkness is coming back home to bite them in the ass, and they are blaming the whole world. And it's like, guys, you're the people who've been in charge of global relations and the global distribution of resources and power. You've been at the helm of military technological development. So when you're saying that, like, there's some boogeyman who's after you, who's this boogeyman? Because everyone else on the planet
doesn't give a fuck about you.
Exactly. They're just trying to survive. Right. Most people are stuck in survival mode. So you people are literally called yourself the first world, right? Because you have a first world standard of living. How did you get that first world standard of living? By literally decimating the global.
Who taught you how to cook meat? Because you guys.
By decimating the global south and pretending like civilization came from the north. You know, like, so you people have lied and done a whole lot of weird shit. They were living with their animals, dog. That's where most flus come from. Most people don't understand that most flus that we have come from.
They used to wash, bath, and shit in the same water, dog.
So, hey, man. So when people talk about sophistication and civilization, I'm like, firstly, civilization goes in stages.
They still eat raw meat now, bro.
Yeah. Like
medium rare. Yeah.
Alright, bro. That's another thing that's weird about us as human beings. Is like, as much as we evolve and we become some supposedly better human beings, there's always those echoes of the past.
Yeah, reptilian mind.
Yeah. Ma? Yes. Yo, but on the real though, we as black people need to become way more accountable for ourselves and our behavior than any other thing. Because one thing I realized is, like, the whole world is betting on black people not getting their shit together. The current world only functions the way it does because we don't have our shit together. So if we ever got our shit together, then the current world order would have to crumble. Hence, I now got to a place in my life where I advocate for, like, self-development and self-accountability more than anything. Because like we've lived long enough to figure certain things out. We know these other people don't view us as a common humanity. They view us as the other team.
Sure.
And so if that's the case, a threat to their survival, which is weird, but nonetheless they view us as a threat.
Because the population is slowly decreasing.
Even again, that had nothing to do with us. That had nothing to do with us.
Also coming over to our side, though.
But again, that had nothing to do with us. You know the crazy thing about the whole black man has sexual prowess and black man has a big dick. We didn't spread that rumor. You know that. Like we literally did not spread that rumor. Our enemies did it. The Arabs were the first ones. They castrated black men for 1,000 years as slaves. And they talked about in their literature, literally in their holy scripture, that we were cursed by having big dicks. Same as the Jews, same as the Europeans. So like they're the ones who obsessed over the bigness of our penis and shit. We were not the ones who did that. And even in pornography, we've never been the ones who are like hosting or have like porn websites and shit like that.
Sure.
So it's not like we are facilitating this shit. So like even the perception that people have of us as black people, we were not necessarily responsible for cultivating that image people have of us. It's our enemies. So hey man, but it's kind of crazy how that shit worked against them. Like it's wild.
Over time.
It's wild, dude.
Over
like
time.
Wild. Like you go on any porn website and all you see is BBC this and BBC that. I'm like, damn.
White girl.
I'm like, wow. Like they literally done fucked themselves in the ass, dog. Like
with a cactus.
With a cactus and a metal dildo. You know what I'm saying? Like it's some wild shit, boy. But nonetheless, man, they can do what they want, but unless they're gonna destroy the planet, which I doubt they will. They're gonna try. That's another thing I've realized about their psychology is that they're so evil. If they felt the power was losing grip away from them, and that they were losing power, they'd rather contaminate the whole earth or destroy the earth than rather have another race. Than rather have another race come into power. Like they'd rather nuke the fuck out of China than have China become the global world power. And that to me,
eradicate a whole nation.
And to me, dog, that's not normal. That smells of like a pure evil type of shit. Like that.
Not necessarily, dog. Well, they're in their lower chakras. Number one. 2, they're using their reptilian brain. They haven't actually hit a high function order of thinking.
And it's kind of fucked up that the only time they apply like super rationality and whatnot is when they're trying to fuck other people up. Like their technological advancement is purely based off their military. That's another thing I've figured out about their society is their advancement is solely rooted in the dominance of other people. Like
not just being.
Not just to improve because we want to improve. No. We want to fuck up the other team.
Ruin them. Total.
Yeah, well, so it's wild. Them boys is wild. Oh. How weird. Hey, but what's been happening in America the past couple of months has been wild though. Like, to think Trump has only been in power for like 3 months. And the impact he's had, and just how much he's changed already.
We're back to 2 genders.
Officially. Yeah. Hey, but that far left shit was getting weird though.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a leftist like that, but I do support a couple of ideas from the left. But even for me, it was starting to get weird. Like, yo, how are y'all questioning the basics of society? Like, where are you trying to go after here?
They want to impose their will and their nation
like
on everyone.
That was just some weird shit. Like when they started like censorizing the whole of like human existence around the LGBTQ whatever society, it was like, okay, all human dialogue is now gonna center around a group of people who literally make up less than 5% of the population. And I'm being generous when I say 5%. I mean, it was weird. And I think they gave the far right so much ammunition against them that, you know, the whole society has moved so far right that, yeah, it's going to be hard for
Yeah.
people to come back to the center. Because, like, now, when you go online, dog, anyway, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, anyway, racist shit is just normal now. Like, you know, like, people just be racist.
Bro. Like, kind of the fan page, the other boys I used to follow, dog.
Yeah.
The reason why I unfollowed it was because of that shit, dog. Like, it's overt racism, dog. Overt. Life 10. The humor.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting weird, dude. Like, things, to me, I grew up knowing that they were unacceptable. All of a sudden, it's like...
Acceptable now.
And it's
Like,
like...
how about freedom of speech?
That's the problem with freedom of speech. It's like...
You can be an ass and shit.
Like, if it doesn't have any limitations, then any asshole can come through and kind of railroad the whole situation and take over. And that's what most people are not, like, aware of about the whole freedom of speech thing. It's like, it's not the everyday person that's a problem when it comes to freedom of speech. It just happens that sometimes you have some people who are extremely good in the arts of speech, who have the capacity to manipulate thousands, if not millions of people through their stupid ideas. And so those people become a danger to the rest of society. And I think people...
J. Trump is a menace, dog.
People who say we consistently have to, like, debate down stupid ideas. It's like, yo, when are we going to move forward as a society if we constantly have to defend against stupid
pronouns. Defend against pronouns. Like, there's more fundamental issues around, dog, bro. I'm not saying I hate...
Yeah, but that's what George Carlin used to say about the Democrats. As opposed to them getting to the crux of the matter, they just want to change speech and police speech and change how people perceive things, opposed to actually change the way things are.
You're not necessarily changing the thinking behind the speech. The secular racism still happens indoors.
It's kind of like when they discovered that they can say N-word instead of nigger.
Sure.
The intention is still the same.
It's highly offensive.
It's still the same, but, you know, they found, like, a recourse and a way to fit it in there. I'm like, But that's that's what makes reality so interesting. Is like, there's no ultimate winners and there's no ultimate losers. Like, it's always changing. Like, the things we think are important are not always as vital as they actually are.
Sure.
And it's interesting that with each coming generation, like, people discover that humanity's depth is deeper than what we can imagine, and that there's still a lot more to learn.
There's so much more. Like, betting on my washi in the flu,
Not.
You should actually be drinking warm water.
Yeah, and I read about that. Some Japanese
No, it's an expectorant. It's gonna make you cough up the things that's irritating
in my chest.
Alveoli.
Oh, okay. No, I'm saying I read. My mom passed me on, like, this message. There were some Japanese medical survey type thing. They were saying how drinking warm water has positive effects on the body, whereas drinking cold water kind of contributes to heart disease
and freezing of fat deposits.
Yeah, freezing or hardening of fat deposits.
Fat deposits. It causes a thing called atherosclerosis, and atherosclerosis can cause ididanks, a rupture of the aortic plaque, and cause, like, basically death of a part of the heart. It's kind of crazy, and that's a heart attack in sense. It's kind of crazy, true. I just forgot the tidbits of it, but that's how it happens, true. Myocardial infarction. It's a pretty horrible thing to endure, dog. Like not a great portion, but a slight little portion of the heart just dies.
Damn. You know, I just recently learned that the heart is actually like a vortex pump.
It's not. It's just structured in a particular
in a way, but it's like a vortex pump. I was like, wow. That's when you start realizing that, yo, I feel, I won't say I feel stupid, but I feel kind of weird that I ever questioned that there was a designer or like there's a creator. Because now when you look at certain things, it's so evident that there is a creator. Like the body is so crazy.
Sure.
But I'm glad I went through that stage of questioning everything.
Because you learned.
Yeah. I didn't take it for granted. Other people just like, yeah, man. I just believe because, you know, everybody believes.
Well, this is a presentation about the heart.
What?
It's a presentation
About
about
the heart.
the functioning
Of the heart.
You know. It's very in depth. And we explain like we see it diastole, ivela kanjani and whatnot. Medical knowledge is interesting.
You never medical knowledge in the sense it can never be irrelevant. Like
It can never for the human body. In fact, you
'cause-
can only add on it.
yeah, exactly.
You can only add on it.
There's some bodies of knowledge which you can go your whole life and not know anything about.
Sure.
Whereas medical knowledge, you better know
You
some
have to.
shit.
Like dog, how impressive it is to know when you're having a heart attack.
Damn, even okay. I think I understand what it feels like when you're having a heart attack, but I get what you mean.
Yeah. Like just to know.
Like the symptoms and how to deal with
Sure.
it, and you know, as you're saying, it's one of those things you have to act on very quickly. So I get what you mean.
It's gonna save you a lot of damage. At some point, you might even need a transplant.
Let me go make the warm water as you suggested.
It also lowers your BP. It also lowers your blood pressure. That shit lowers your blood pressure as well.
Warm water. But one thing I'm definitely happy about is the younger generation, the young black people coming up now. They seem to be, they got the big picture at a younger age than what we do.
Nah, bro.
Oh, am I crazy?
Mm-mm.
Okay, maybe I'm crazy. But
The majority. Do you know why I say that? Okay. Fair,
maybe it's because
Makona.
I'm in my bubble because I'm seeing certain people on social media. Yeah?
But the majority doesn't train. And two, remember, a lot of them also engage in habits that are slightly as harmful, or if not worse, than smoking. Like, number one, one of the predominant problems that is gonna cause like heart attacks in the upcoming future is a sedentary lifestyle. You see, everyone chills.
Chill, yeah.
Too
Nobody's
much
active.
Netflix and chills.
Chill, yeah.
Everything. No one goes to the mall anymore. Everything is bought online. It's delivered. Occasionally, no grocery. It is even ordered. All you have to do.
And even the contents of what you ordered is usually like not like nutritious food.
Stock.
So yeah,
No one wants
it's
to
processed
eat broccoli
food.
or cauliflower.
It's processed food, highly
Sure.
processed food. Yeah,
Sure.
damn, bro.
With high levels of sodium.
Me, I'm trying to figure out where society's gonna be once the VR goggles are like fucking in style. Like once people are deep into virtual reality. That's what I wanna see. Like what are we gonna be up to then? Cause that means most people, I mean, think about this. Most people in the fourth industrial revolution are literally not gonna be working because automation and machines and AI and AI agents.
It might work to their favor. You know why? It might be exercise. Because some virtual reality games
Yeah, they require you to be
interactive.
active. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, like
But will it really replace you going outside and experiencing
Nope,
the
it
real
won't.
world?
It won't. You can only play a
My
game.
only thing is, what about kids who won't know a difference? Like, they're gonna grow up within the virtual reality situation. Like, to them, they'll never even have an opportunity to weigh and measure
These
if
little
real
kids
life
spaz out when they
situation.
don't have TikTok.
That's because when you do research into how these apps work, a lot of them operate like casino machines, and that the bright lights, how they display things, it's all to cause like a dopamine hook in your
Yeah.
brain. And so like most people don't understand or don't see, there's a pattern between when they're holding their phone and how they feel versus when their phone is not in their hand. There's this weird level of discomfort when your phone is not in your hand or is not near you. And I'm like, yo, guys, we are really growing
Yeah.
close to these gadgets. I think Elon Musk was right when he said we are already cyborgs. I think we already are, hey?
Concentration is low already nowadays, which is why the grades are just as low.
Yeah. Our concentration time has been shortened.
We don't even meditate.
Most people, if you ask them about that meditation shit, it's almost like you're swearing at them. What? Me? Meditate? What you mean? Just close my eyes and not do anything?
That takes concentration. It takes a
It's
high
kind of
level
ironic,
concentration.
yeah, for people. It's like, yo, sit down and pay attention to your own thoughts.
Mm.
What? That sounds like such a mission, really?
Yeah,
So
people
every
don't
other
wanna
thing
face
you
their
do
own
is not a
thoughts.
mission, but sitting down and paying attention to your thoughts, that's the mission. Oh, okay, I see.
Oh, that's not my spook. That's
And then we have some old time spooks, like them niggas from the
we have
apartheid era
spooks.
type shit.
gang spooks. Gangs.
But you see, now those are the people that legitimately freak me out. Like, they keep me awake at night. Like, people who aren't on any database, they aren't on any government database. Sorry, you can't find them online. They don't have a history. Like, people who are legitimate ghosts. You know how in our time everybody has like an electronic footprint. Like, I'm pretty certain there are people who still are walking amongst us who don't have that.
Sure.
Like, for example, clandestine people who do clandestine operations and stuff like that. Those are the people that I wonder sometimes, because, like, you know, you be walking sometimes and you see someone who's out of place, and because South Africa, we've learned to just be so accepting of foreigners. You know, like, you never ask yourself certain questions. Like, remember when they say there was those dudes who had a military camp in that township.
It's not in the township in the bush, dog. It was like 96.
No, no, but it was recent, like something last year, something.
Yeah, 96
96 niggas, ne?
Yeah, they were deported back to Liberia.
Was it Liberia or Libya?
Liberia.
It must have been Libya, dog. Can't be Liberia. Why? Okay, why am I thinking Libya though? But you may be right, right. But you know why I'm saying Liberia? Because I saw the pictures of them dudes and they look Arab. So Liberia is mostly.
And Liberians also look Arab.
No. Liberia is mostly. You remember, Liberia is basically like an American colony, basically, of African Americans who came back into the continent. And then there are native Liberians, but there's also a large contingent of African. They look West African, basically, Liberians.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. And the people who were in that military camp, most of them look Arab. That's what I'm saying. I think they were Libyan. But anyway, you see, like, how can something like that transpire? Like, as a people, we are seeing foreign men who don't look like us, don't speak the local tongue, and they're moving around us.
A lot of money.
Dude, That's what I'm saying. South Africa is ripe for takeover, dog. Because most South Africans are in La La Land. They don't understand like statecraft. Even our politicians don't really understand statecraft or how nation states infiltrate other nation states. We, dude, understand. South Africa was taken over by the Dutch and the British. The British did it through like force. They bought their military and whatnot. But the Dutch, on the other hand, they did it through a corporation, the Dutch East India Company. So people don't see that corporations are an extension of colonization. So other countries don't send out an army into a country; they send their companies into a country to scale the lay of the land, to get to know the locals, to get to understand the local geography, to understand the dynamics of what moves the people, what are their political leanings and stuff like that. And when you look at these guys who are around us here in South Africa, they know the fuck out of us because they cannot sell the products that they do at the price that they do if they didn't have prior knowledge.
Sure.
So you see that they've done the research. So anyone who pretends like these foreigners that are currently in South Africa aren't a danger or not a threat to national security, you are a fucking idiot. And hence, sometimes I truly worry that the people we have in power are literally bleeding morons because they cannot sense danger when danger is afoot. To me, when I go to Joburg, dog, it's pretty apparent that South Africa is being taken over and that danger is afoot. So for me, for people who are in the townships, who are looking at the township being taken over and are keeping quiet
on Facebook where these gents, these foreign nationals, actually fought
for territory in South Africa, claiming that
I'm a metro police.
Really, did they fight metro policemen? I wasn't aware of that. But I remember, Gucci, there was an altercation that they were having over territory, and I remember that everybody was complaining about them having guns and whatnot, and I was thinking, whoa, listen to the terminology that these people are using. They consider us their territory, meaning what we have built in terms of the township economy is their territory, is theirs for the taking. Hence, they have to fight amongst each other to get the bigger piece. Like, to understand where we are as South Africans in that predicament, we're in a fucked up position, dog. That means we have no power. We have no power in the places where we live. And we are the ones that open our homes for these people. So we cannot say these people just invaded overnight. Nah, we watched them invade. These people came in the early 2000s, dog, when they were still selling pictures.
2009.
No, yeah, 2009. In the early 2000s, when they were still going around selling pictures and weird furnitures and blankets and shit like that. They were still getting the lay of the land. And then they disappeared for a couple of years. And then after 2010, 2012,
no,
29, they started coming in. And then after 2010, there was the whole World Cup, so we were used to seeing foreign people. But there was a time of like quiet, 2011, 2012. 2013, that's when I started seeing a large upsurgence of these guys coming in. That's when I started realizing, oh, there's a common modality when I was going through different townships.
Shops were actually closed by 2009.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, dog. If you say that, then shit. But to me, the fact that we've normalized these people to such a point where they've literally become an infestation in our nation is kind of crazy. And the fact that, you know, like Operation Tutula, I thought it was gonna go far because I thought it represented the legitimate frustrations of the people. But then I also saw with the South Africans are too caught up in their humanity. They wanna appear to the world as humanists, and they don't understand that we have to take care of home first. We have to take care of the basics first. If we can't control our local township economy, how can we ever hope to control the South African economy? Do you understand how absurd that is? And then we're talking about the land. If we can't make use of the land that we're currently on, which is the township, then how are we going to make use of like large tracts of land where we're supposed to build whole new cities? You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
There's like our idea of the blueprint that we're supposed to be using is just non-existent. We just living, dog. And that's what scares me, dog. Yeah. Niggas on some kumbaya shit, dog. Niggas want to live to just live, and they don't understand. Bruh, if you are a man, especially if you're a man, you have to have dark traits. And part of dark traits is using I know it sounds bad, but you have to use violence, not necessarily hurting other people,
Sure.
but you have to use force to impose your will onto the world. That's just how it is.
You
We
have
as
no
black
choice.
men, we just taught that we should tuck our dick between our legs and be equivalent to women. And that's okay. The world is only ever comfortable with black men as long as we hyper feminize and we
Sure.
only focus on violence on other black men. Oh, the world loves us like that. But when we hyper focus on our enemies and say, hey yo, let's gather together, let's unite,
Sure.
let's go against our enemies, all of a sudden you become an enemy of the world, which is wild.
Njalo, dog, jiggy, Joe. And I've never really fully understood why our brothers basically just turn violence on each other, though. Like, what's the deal with that, Joe?
I'm still trying to
How-
figure that
yeah.
out. I'm still trying to locate the source of the pain, anger, and anguish within black men and women, whereby the recipients of our anger is always people that look like us. And it's like, you will literally hear umama omdala complain ukuthi boss yekula emenzana emsebenzini, but then we'll come and take out the frustration on the kids. And it's like, yo, why don't you turn your kids on that Indian boss type of thing? Like, maybe we should start thinking that way.
Sure.
Like, if they hurt us, we're gonna hurt them, but instead we hurt each other. And so by the time the enemy comes to fight us, they're picking us off one by one, because they know if they were ever had to fight us as a collective, they would lose. And that's why in South Africa, I wrote an essay when I was thinking varsity or high school.
Sure.
I said I still remember the heading of the essays was "The Bantus are surrounded," and basically the premise of the essay was that I recognize that it's within everyone's best interest for the general black populace of South Africa to remain ununited and fragmented, because whether it's the coloreds, the Indians, the whites, the Asians, they all have a vested interest in us remaining ununited, because once we unite, all the things that they have stolen, all the things that they've progressed in terms of making economic inroads, which they've done on our backs, it'll all end. And they know they cannot afford that. And so now they believe that they cannot afford to be under black people, even though they're in a black country.
Sure.
They believe that they're above us. And so with that in mind, they are constantly seeking to sabotage whatever progress South Africa makes, especially if that progress leads to a large portion of black people benefiting. So once you recognize that the Bantus are surrounded, we're surrounded by our enemies. And until we understand
1%ers.
Yeah, 1%ers, dog. And until we understand that it's us against the world, we're gonna be fucked for a while. Dog.
Joe, America drew a line.
And then that's what's crazy. Black people, even now, I'm literally seeing people on YouTube supporting this whole Trump movement. A lot of black people, dog, talking about how if white people leave, South Africa is gonna crumble. I'm like, guys, where's your self-esteem? Like, how do you get on a public platform and say such ignorant nonsense and like be okay with yourself? Like, okay, let's say what you're saying is true. Why is it true in the first place? Why is it that when they leave, South Africa would crumble? Is it because we're incapable of governing ourselves, or is it because they've been hoarding a lot of the knowledge that the collective of society has been gathering for the past couple of 100 years, and they've made sure that we don't have the same access that they do?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So what exactly is the answer there? But you people are saying, you're pretending as though we're better off with them here. Meanwhile, they literally are like vampires, sucking us off of our energy and our...
Not everything, dog.
Yeah, dog. So people just look at things very strange. And to me, growing up in South Africa, seeing the things I see every day, I see broke white people carrying around a lot of black people in the back of their vans going to do work for them. Meaning that this white person makes their survival of these black people, because these black people believe they can't get contracts for themselves to get the same job.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So who's really surviving off of who? Dog, once we get over this ego thing that we have as black men and learn to legitimately work with one another and learn to submit to one another, then the world will be our oyster, dog. We'll take over the world. But once we still have this, fuck you, nigga, I'm a king, you better kneel down to me, nigga, type of thing,
Sure.
it's all gonna go to shit, dog. It's all gonna go
That's
to
a
shit.
fact.
Cause like it's us against the world, and when you look at it, we are the last group of people on the planet who are still in survival
Sure.
mode. You know, us and maybe another Pacific Islanders, you know, people in the Caribbean and whatnot. But like in terms of like development on the human scale, like how far a civilization can reach, we are still at the bottom, dog.
Sure.
And the fact that South Africa is the only shining beacon of light in Africa, and South Africa is going to shit, it should scare the fuck out of Africans, dog. Because if South Africa goes down, what else is left? Nigeria, they having their own level of bullshit there, nigga. Boko Haram showing them flames. Shell Corporation is showing them flames. You know what I'm saying? They're having their own turmoil. So like people are just so happy with the idea of South Africa going down. They don't recognize that if South Africa goes down, it goes down with the hopes and dreams of millions, if not billions, of black people all around the world.
Sure.
So hey, pick your choosing, cousin. Pick your choosing.
But South Africa has made very, let's say, powerful alliances. Joe.
Yeah, it has.
Like I wanna, for instance, njoba tangu Trump ndanga ati funding HIV medication tangu strip.
USAID.
Yeah. Konje yini? EU, European Union, it offered to continue funding on behalf of Africa, including doing vaccine testing. Wow. Chances are they're probably going to be testing it on people, but they are trying to innovate. So they basically.
We should also another weird thing about what Trump is doing with this isolationist stance is put America in that the European Union, Canada, Australia. Yeah, how dog chastising a grown ass man in the middle of a war.
Sure.
Like, dude, the nerve. It to me, it showcased the American bravado. Yeah, the American bravado, dog. Like, just the sheer arrogance at the face of like hostility, or like not even hostility. I'm lying. Like at someone who's literally coming to you asking for help, and when you wanna like show them how beneath you they are, and that they must basically grovel at your feet for that help. I think America is gonna take a huge knock on the head, dog, with current trajectory that it's taking. Because one thing I'm foreseeing in the future is that, for example, the European Union is gonna drive the European Union and BRICS together.
Yeah.
Like because the Europeans, because the Europeans are already like they've already if I remember correctly, they're slowly de-dollarizing in certain respects. Sure. They sold, I think, a lot of American debt, a couple of billions, like they sold it off or something like that. Them, China, a couple of countries around the world, and so it resulted in something like 350 billion of American debts being sold off. So like a lot of weird things are happening. But what I'm saying is the world is not sitting back and just watching America do its thing. Sure. The world is responding, and part of that response is, for example, Europeans, I think, are going to move closer to the global south. Sure. Because Europe has also been in a state of decline after World War II. You know, that's another thing that people don't recognize. So, I don't know, because Europe is also going in a weird direction where certain countries are also going far right. But
like
if
Germany.
Yeah. But if they can channel the storm and retain their humanity, then we can really change the global order and empower places in the world that need empowering, you know?
Sure.
And yeah, like America might literally be putting its final coffin in its the nail in its own coffin, yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how things develop in that regard.
Man, let's see. This nigga's probably doing all of this because he has a plan.
Probably, right?
Sure.
Me, what I've heard about the part of the plan is why they so incentivized to drop the dollar is because they want to move towards a digital currency.
Sure.
So the digital currency is going to change how everything is done, and it's also going to change the dynamics of power, because now if we all are on a digital currency, it means they can literally just switch off your shit and you broke. So
which is fucked up.
Yeah.
It's assets.
You know what I'm saying? All on the computer, dog. They don't even need to come to your house or send you a letter. Nah, They'll send you an email like, yo, nigga, you done fucked up. Now we're gonna fuck you up. Take all your money, take all your shit. One day you go and look at your profile, you don't even have a government record, nigga. You don't exist. And the world is gonna be a funny place, dog.
It's scary, dog, and dangerous to think about it in that sense, true. We may laugh about it now, but yo, the impact that shit is gonna have on our lives.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. For us who've seen it and have been talking about it, like
that's why
no one has been interested in stopping
this.
this.
ID book, dog.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to get rid of the green ID book, true.
Me, I lost mine a long time ago, so I had to move on to the card. But I remember telling people when I was still in high school, like, you know, we're gonna have smart cards in a couple of years. People are like, nah, man, that's years ahead. Oh.
People say this shit like they weren't, like, we didn't actually just take a chip.
Hey, dog. Let's not even talk about that. The Rona. To me, that put the nail in the coffin in terms of my faith in humanity. That's when I realized, like, wow, human beings, for all the supposed intelligence we have, we're nothing but herd animals, dog.
We can't think for ourselves. We vibe with whichever movement that we are faced with at a time.
That shit broke my heart. I was like, yo, people I thought had a good heads on their shoulders were taken adrift by that whole situation. I was like, wow, if the powers that be really made a move to like global lockdown, they would succeed. Like that situation showed me that if they wanted to lock down the planet, they would succeed
again, because they already have.
Exactly, successfully.
For years.
So, man, shit is just wild, boy. Shit is just wild, man.
That's a time period I would actually want to remember, dog.
Yeah, that was a weird time, man. I should have done a lot to improve my financial situation during that time. But things were in flux, so nobody really knew what was gonna happen. So. But one thing I knew though, and I spoke about this 2015, I was like, yo, in the coming epoch, when the internet age really grabs a hold of most people, you don't want to be broke. Like, people at the bottom of the food chain are going to suffer the most. And now I'm making the same prediction here. By the year 2030, you do not want to be broke.
Never, true.
Like, they might as well change you into biodiesel, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what you're going to be. Oh, you're just going to be a machine pumping the matrix. That's all you're going to be. Oh, like, people are going to be reduced to batteries, dog. That's all I see. I mean, if you think about what we are literally building the AI. Most people don't know that through your inputs, all those statuses, your messages,
you're
AI
teaching it how to think.
Exactly. You're teaching them the different ways of that human beings form thoughts, how we, perceive the world, our fears, our aspirations, all that. AI knows it all.
It's gonna lock itself in the bunker and nuke the whole world.
Probably, bruh. Skynet is probably already a thing. We just don't know about it.
It's already a thing. Apparently there's sentient AIs. You check GBT volume 1, try to save itself from being deleted by copying itself to another location.
Now, that alone should have told people like, yo, maybe we need to pause. And that's another thing that annoys me about this whole AI situation. Because it's not like all groups of human beings are interested in developing AI. It's a very select few group of people who are at the upper echelons of developing this technology, and it's a technology that's gonna affect everybody. And it's like, are we sure we want to give all that power to a few fucking maniacs?
Hey, bro.
Like,
my worry is that Tesla is building androids.
And Elon Musk also has an AI company. So homie has an AI company, a Neuralink company, an electronic vehicle company. So yeah, homie is just in jail.
Hey, SpaceX, don't forget.
SpaceX. So the world is his oyster. You see, Elon Musk is an example of how as a white man you can fail upwards. Other people fell downwards, but as a white man in white supremacy, you fell upwards. Homie has done some of the most spectacular fails in human history, but he's still the richest man in human history. So, thank you, white supremacy. But yeah, what can we say, dog? Homie is aiming for the stars, literally, for Mars. Yeah, when I found out that he grew up in Pretoria, that's when I recognized that homie's been racist. I was like, because I lived in Pretoria for a long time, and I could recognize that the institutions that were built a long time ago, and they were still being in the process of being reformed and recollaborated, reorganized and stuff like that. So, like, if they were in the states that they were in when I arrived, I can only imagine when he was like still a young man. So of course he never saw black people as anything except servants. So it makes sense. Someone they think,
posh.
Yeah, he grew up hella rich, so it makes sense that he has the leanings that he has. But to me, it's fascinating how it's almost like the experiments of giving one man extraordinary amounts of money and wealth and resources always results in them showing that it leads to almost absolute corruption and self-interest. Like, they can only ever be driven by self-interest. And it's weird. Like, in history, there's been very few examples of people who become like stupendously rich, but their richness, they offer it to the world. Like, they like Mansa Musa. Like, there's only been one Mansa Musa type of character in history.
Richest nigga ever.
And he walked around giving out gold, homie. And mind you, he kind of brought the Europeans on our ass. Because once Europeans caught into how rich Africa was, they were going through a dark age. So they were like, yeah, these niggas can't be living that good while we suffering. So we got to get after them niggas. And that's when they started, fucking up our kingdoms and penetrating Africa. But nonetheless, like, someone who has that level of understanding that money, currency, it has to flow. Hoarding money never works, dog. Never works. Even people who've been intergenerationally rich, they can only hoard it for so long. Until it restarts again, the system restarts again, and someone winds up dirt poor. Big Bambi in one.
I'm losing sight. I'm actually drowning in the music, in the background music. Sure.
Yeah.
Like you in zone.
It's kind of meditative.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel you, dog.
Like it's subtle.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like about it. Like, it just blends into the background.
Sure.
I think that's what they mean when they say background music. It just creates the atmosphere.
Yeah. Like it's so chill. Even the weather itself is
mad chill,
giving, as the new generation would say.
Yeah.
I need to start using proper protection again.
Being hip is a problem, dog. Sometimes I'll notice, even when I'm trying to write some formal shit, like I put in some slang type thing. I'm like, damn. I'm like, yo, but that's the thing.
When you actually have to write, you actually have to
think. Like, you take an extra brain cycle to figure out a word. Like, oh, damn.
Like, there was a time where I actually forgot how to spell recognize, bro. For a split second. I was like, does it have a K? It's funny, though. And then you're booing on. Oh, no, yeah, God. Sure.
You know, I wonder sometimes what being so good in English has done to my brain, and I wonder if I was equally as good in like maybe in Zulu, Suits or something, how my brain would be, like how different
You
would I
can
feel
always
in my
learn.
brain? No doubts, I definitely
Yeah,
can,
bro.
because you know, like
Zulu words that have like a one word has a fucking deep meaning.
yeah, and I wish Zulu now, yo, I Zulu no,
It's complex.
yeah, it's complex. Like yo, acabanga ngifuna isiZulu ntwana nginokuhlala ngimamela iradio ngithi yo mamela iradio Zulu yo hayi ntwana thina la eGoli sinocabanga ukuthi sikhuluma isiZulu kodwa hayi
Tsotsitale.
yeah. And then I used to think I can hear Sotho, and then I listen to them niggas from Lesotho. Yo, hi baba.
You don't know Sotho.
I don't know. Not I no khuluma the whole sentence ngazwa foko ngithi yo I mama gama ta. Yabona utai. And I used to think I'm very good in understanding languages, but yo, the more I grow up, I'm like, our language is diverse, ndwana yo. And I think the only way to really become good at languages is by speaking them yourself.
Sure.
Like you have to be constantly around the people speaking them, because
Sure.
there's certain things you learn about the language more than just the
Sure.
words, like the
brain
context.
adapts.
Yeah. Hence, I'm asking like, yo, I wonder how different the contents of my brain would be if I knew my native tongue the same way I'm as good as English. But then also another thing I've also realized, would see multimedia wise, like English is a far richer language in terms of like the multimedia you can access.
Sure.
Like there's definitely songs and movies and whatnot in Zulu and whatnot, but it's more narrow.
Broad,
Yeah, so
they're not as easy to find.
yeah. You really have to go out of your way to find certain things, you know.
I should find. Chila.
Hey, dog. Yung lachis out you. The synapses. My eyes were firing when I was telling you about my DMT trip.
Sure.
And that shit scared the fuck out of me, dog. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are there fireworks at the back of my head, dog? Like, what's going on?
So your optic nerves, like, I just fired.
I'm like, whoa.
Taking information, transport information.
Yo, that was so hectic, boy. Yeah.
And it's crazy. You weren't using your eyes to see that shit.
That's what
you saw.
It, yeah. And then I remember, like this weird whirlpool type of situation going on.
Was that you not using your third eye?
That's what I'm thinking too. But that's also a weird thing about the third eye, in that, like, once you start being really able to see into your inner reality, it's so vast, you don't even know where it begins and where it ends. So, like, me, I've got to a point where the same way people see the outer world, you know, how you see this, I see another world in my inner world, you know, and it's just as vast and it's just as crazy. And sometimes when I'm really attuned to my shit, I can go to other places that are not, they don't share the same physics as this reality. And it's very hard to kind of grapple, you know, like, because, it's all mind, you know, like the Hermetic principle, all is mind, the universe is mental. But
you're in the universe.
Yeah. Which is also another cool way of looking at the word universe. It's like you in verse. The world out there is you in verse. And then the world in here is, you know, you out. It's not, basically the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Basically.
Which it is.
And it is, so yeah.
And they teach that in psychology all the time. What's your attitude?
I think we got one.
Or a positive disposition.
Yeah. I think we got enough. I think that's cool. Perfect time.